All right, we have reached 9:30. Let's see, how's everything going? How's the participant? We got people rolling in, right? Good morning, everybody. All right, things are flowing. Good mornings are coming out. I imagine caffeine is open. Everybody's queued up. All right, so let's get started. Welcome back to Workshop 4. We are so excited that you guys are joining us again this morning. I hope that that break from Friday all the way to Wednesday gave you time, if you had missed one of the earlier workshops, to get in and really get your trips caught up so you can truly exploit our time together. All right. Okay, so if you joined us for office hours this morning, thank you for being here. I hope that it was very helpful. If you haven't yet been to an office hours, just so you're aware, you can literally just open up your webinar up to 30 minutes ahead of time and jump on in. And you're welcome to put questions in the panel so we can get some live demonstrations and so the product experts can help you, or you can just come and sit and watch and absorb as other people's questions are answered. We try to keep the office hours really reserved to what we have been talking about in workshops so that that time is really focused in and helpful to everybody attending. So please, if you haven't taken advantage of office hours before and you'd like to pop in up to 30 minutes before any of our boot camp workshops, you can just use the same login link. There's no separate link. It's all just one join link. Just join up to 30 minutes early and come on in and sit back and learn a lot of great things. Let me get my screen shared so we can start rolling through today's laundry list. Let's see. Turn that off. Start slideshow. Share screen. And voila. Okay. Bear with me as Zoom just jumped everything and decided it would move it on my screen because that's kind. Just make me hunt for stuff, right? Okay, so we have already been gainfully employing a whole team of product experts behind the scenes for office hours. They will remain with us throughout the duration of the workshop. Today we have with us Brad, Chloe, Jennifer, Ken, and of course, Ternbot Fin deserves some props because he's actually answering the most questions. We have this super cute rendition of Finn now. He just came to be last week and we all fell in love with this version. And so now this is our new mascot. Okay. Bear with me as my keyboard is not advancing my slides. All right, also back with us, the actual boot camp mascot, Brent. Thank you for another fabulous picture from our last workshop. We have already been trolling Facebook this morning and found the post from this morning. I commented, so pop back over there. I sent you a picture in return. So thank you. These are making us smile every day. We're posting them in our team Slack so that everybody can enjoy these. I love it. Keep it coming. Sorry you're not in Cozumel anymore. Did I say that right? I'm gonna embarrass myself. I've never been. Don't know if I'm saying it right, but sorry you're not there anymore. Glad you're still here with us. All right, the use book we listen slide. Your favorite one, I think. All right, so we keep getting feedback that when I go to Turn and Learn, the live recordings are hard to find because the folder is all the way at the bottom. Well, I moved it all the way to the top. So now hopefully it's a little easier. You don't have to scroll down or shut the caret on the other live recordings to find the bootcamp ones. I just drug them to the top. So they're sitting there for you. Hopefully that's a little easier. Another question we've been getting, can you send us the Q&A from our last workshop? Yes, that has been getting posted. We have to clean it up because it comes across in a really ugly spreadsheet from Zoom. So we have to kind of clean it up, go through, QA it, make sure everything's good to go. And then that is getting dropped into the training guide. Everything is getting dropped into the training guide to try to make it easier for you. Less clicks, one click, just go to the training guide, and then you'll find the live recordings, you'll find your printable checklist downloads, you'll find the Q&As once we get it cleaned up, all on the workshop card that it applies to. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Next question we've been receiving: can you make the workshop registration and join links easier to find? I can't find mine. So in the training guide at the very top, I built a new schedule, and in that schedule, I put each workshop's link. It's going to take you to the page where it either says join or register. That's the best I can get for you because you all have technically unique join links. But at least that gets you to the Zoom event page where hopefully you have a join button. And if not, you can just re-register to change your registration button to a join button. Hopefully that helps. That's the closest I can get with you all having different unique join codes. All right, next up, the laundry. I know those of you that are with us for the fourth time out of 4 times, like Karina, I've seen the slide 4 times, that's enough. But please bear with me because some people are joining us for the very first time, and I want their experience to be as smooth as everybody else's who's already been here and is familiar. So that said, let's go over a few things that'll help us have the best possible workshop. And that is chat versus QA panel. The chat for boot camp is social. You guys can post questions there and answer them for each other, and talk and enjoy yourselves. The Q&A panel, however, is how you push questions to our product experts for them to answer. So please just know that difference. If people are dropping questions in the chat and you can help them, please do. Otherwise, if you want it to go to our team, please drop it in the Q&A panel. If you don't see that, please take your mouse, hover all around your Zoom screen to get your toolbar to pop back open, and then you can find your Q&A panel in there to ask your questions. We do ask, if you wouldn't mind, with so many attendees, we won't be able to answer everybody's questions. So we are asking if you can please first ask Fin, Ternbot Fin, in the lower right-hand corner of your Tern screen. Any question that pops up during boot camp, if you can please ask Ternbot Fin first, you will be surprised at how much he can answer. I'm literally using him to answer some of the questions that come through the Q&A panel because he does a thorough job and can generate the text so much faster than if we sit there and try to type out all the answers. In doing that, when you ask Ternbot Fin and you're not quite getting what you need, then please pull that over, like that follow-up, like, I'm not getting it. Me and Fin have had a conversation, it's not working. Please drop those questions into the Q&A panel because that's when our product experts can jump in and finish getting you the support that you need. Trials. Some of you are with us on a trial account so that you can learn Tern, explore Tern, get accustomed to Tern, but your trials are set to expire within the middle of boot camp. Those have all been, to the best of our knowledge and ability, extended to, I think, August, towards the very end of August, to make sure you not only get through the boot camp, but then have some time that next week to do a little bit more exploring on your own. If you find you are an exception to that, will you please reach out to me? My email should be all over the place, but it's Karina@tern.travel. Okay, please reach out to me if you find that we missed your extension and we will get it taken care of. Help me Ternbot Fin. Okay, those of you joining us for the first time, I'm sitting here talking about Ternbot Fin and you're like, wait, what are you talking about? In the lower right-hand corner of your screen, this right here is Ternbot Fin. He is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful at answering questions. If you don't know how to use him, quick tutorial. If you open him up, your screen should land here. You'll either have a button that says chat with us, just click it and ask your question, or if that's missing, it's because you have this message right here, strand already open. just click there and continue your conversation. You can ask follow-up questions. It's not just once and done. He'll remember and keep elaborating as you ask follow-up questions. For a better tutorial on how to use Ternbot Fin, because there's so much more you can do with him, please let me escape out of here. At the top, towards the top of your training guide, there is a how to get help during workshops card, and I made a little tutorial video for Ternbot Fin so you can see how to do even more with him. Next up, the training guide. If you're with us for the first time, you haven't had time to catch up on the emails, the training guide is where it's all at. You can scan this QR code. I'll move my mouse. You can scan the QR code to get straight into it on a mobile device, or I created an easier to remember like tiny URL. So tinyurl.com/ternbootcamp will get you there. Also, you can also find this link in the chat towards the very top. You can find it in your welcome email, and I do believe I have it sitting in the lobby. It's also in the resources. If you hover over and find your Zoom toolbar in the resources, there is a link to the training guide. There's also a link to the printable checklists. Somebody brought to my attention, Becky, I believe, brought to my attention that when making today's checklist, I duplicated my checklist from workshop 3, and I forgot to change workshop 3 to workshop 4. It's changed now, but if you printed one and you're looking at the top of it and you're like, oh no, I printed the wrong checklist. No, you didn't. Karina did that. I messed up, but I fixed it now. All right, it says workshop 4. So if you see this first box say check for authorizations, you're on the right one if you printed it before I fixed it. And that brings us to the end of the laundry. So let's talk about today, specifically the content. That's what we all want to get to. So let's first recap so we all can have our bearings here. In our last workshop, we learned how to go into the trip and see what the traveler did. We looked at the trip's activity log and discovered that our travelers approved our initial notebook trip proposal, but we saw that they also had made a revision request. So to see the details of that revision request, we popped over into our emails and read. It turns out all they wanted was some more room options, at least for us on our trip over here in the demo world. So we opened their lodging and we learned how to add room options and then mark them as options. That's the critical part, right? You got to mark them as options so that your travelers are prompted to choose which option they want. And what's slick about this is that you don't have to do anything literally. You mark it as options, you publish it. The next time they open it, it's going to say, hey, you have room selections to make, right? Super cool. Okay, so with an approved itinerary proposal, it was time to go into each trip component and log the legals and financials, right? So we opened each one. Yeah.
Hey, Karina, I think the screen you're sharing might be the wrong screen. We're still seeing the slides, and folks are saying they can't see what it is you're talking about.
Okay, thank you. I'll just stop sharing because I'm not actually pointing to anything. I'm just kind of recapping what we did, but I can stop share and that will eliminate the confusion. Thank you for popping in.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's see, where did we leave off? So with the approved itinerary proposal, that's where we were, right? Okay, so we opened each component and attached terms and conditions, cancellation policies for our booking suppliers. We entered all the relevant financials such as payment terms, deposits, commissions. All right, some of you may have reached a blocker because you hadn't given Tern credit card permission or turned on two-factor authorizations. Both were fixable in your settings. After the details were buttoned up, you went in and made sure the itinerary was polished for presentation, right? And then you published it, sent it off so they could make their room choices and authorize your credit card charges. All right, so the last thing we did last workshop was a little bit of a shift. We stepped away from our notebook trip and we learned how to get trip information pulled into Tern when it was actually started somewhere else. We considered two scenarios. One, trips that were so far along that all you needed to do in Tern was report and track like bookings and commissions. We learned how to quickly create a trip and only add the bookings, right? Alternately, for trips that you had created elsewhere, but you still required like a polished itinerary, we learned how to pull in an itinerary from somewhere else, either via a PDF upload or copying and pasting the itinerary into the AI Assist field. And when we did that, the trip was rebuilt inside of Tern, which may not have been perfect. AI isn't always perfect, but it saved us tons of time. So we did not have to start from scratch. Okay. So that is a refresher. Hopefully it gets your head like right back into the point where we're going to pick up today. All right. And so in this workshop, what we're going to learn is we're going to start off by confirming our travelers made their room selections and authorize the credit card payments for the deposits, right? And once we have those permissions in hand, we're going to go make our bookings and then come back to Tern. We'll show you how to record all of the payments and confirmation numbers. Once all payments and bookings are logged, we're going to learn how to generate and send an invoice to the travelers. Next, we're going to pause the planning for a moment and take a product tour, because now that we're dealing with money matters, I want you to see some other things that Tern has to offer. We have commission tracking as well as sales and commission reports available for you. And so we're going to show you what's available and where you can find them. And then you'll have a little time to explore that on your own. All right. This is the last thing I'm going to say. The last thing we're going to do today, and then you don't have to listen to me talk for a little bit. We're going to go back into the cruise we started building way back in workshop 1. It was a Virgin Voyages cruise we found in the cruise library. Today, we're going to learn how to add a flight to it. We're going to step by step our way through the flight. I know we touched on that a little bit before, but now we're going to really get into the nitty gritty of getting the flight on there. And then we're also going to learn how to add cabin options to our cruise and the pricing that goes along with that. So I'm sorry I talked so much. I'm going to pause, get a drink of water, and let Ben take over from here.
All right, Karina, thank you for the very thorough recap and overview of what we're doing today. Hello to everybody. I'm Ben from the Tern support team, and welcome back. I'm reporting today from Athens, Greece. It is beautiful here, and so happy to be here with you today. So as Karina mentioned, today we're going to be starting by confirming our client credit card authorizations and then booking authorized trip components for our FIT notebook trip. So once your traveler confirms their room selection and authorizes the credit card charges, it's time to get that stuff booked. So Tern helps you document what's been paid, when the payments come in, along with your booking and confirmation numbers, and keeping these records up to date ensures that you get to stay on top of your deadlines and payments and make sure that your commission is coming to you when it should. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and we're going to dive in. All right, I'm going to make this just a bit bigger so everyone can see. There we go. All right, so in this demonstration, we're going to view the traveler actions from the trip's activity log and associated emails. And depending on your workflow, once authorizations are complete, you would initiate your bookings with your suppliers, then return to Tern to log everything. We'll show you how to make these mark the deposits paid, the trip components as booked, and then where you can log all your booking confirmations. Finally, in just this cycle, we're going to show you how to generate and send off an invoice to your travelers. So the first thing we want to do is open up our notebook trip, which is still in our planning phase on our dashboard. Once we log into our notebook experience trip, we're going to be on our overview page. Pardon me. And one of the first places I always look when I open a trip is this overview page, especially in the activity log area. I can see what activities are upcoming and then as well as past activity. So that's where we're going to focus in on today. So if you're ready to move forward the bookings, you're going to be able to see that they've been authorized down here in your past activity. So this is where you can also see in the past that revisions have been requested or anything else that your customer action has taken. And we can see that credit card authorizations have actually been approved for the stay at Charleston Resort on our trip here. So we can see it here in our past activity, but we can also see in our emails that we should have received. There we go, trip approval. Here we go, we have trip request and then trip approval. So we can see that also in our emails. You'll get an email there. You also will get if an authorization has been made, you'll see in your documents tab that you and the customer will also get a record. In addition to like recording a data point in the activity log, Tern will also save the authorization in the trip's document record. So you don't need to send this document to your traveler. It's already been taken care of for you. So in this case, the trip has been, or the resort has been authorized with no other requests for revisions. So we're kind of good to go here. So let's go into our credit card authorization. So with these bookings in hand, we're going to start marking these as booked and getting our supplier payments ready. So go over to our bookings here. Here we go. Perfect. So assuming our bookings are complete, let's move on to getting these trips components booked. So when using the booking tab, it makes quick work of recording payments and booking confirmation numbers. So you can click anywhere on the specific item and it will open directly into the booking and pricing information. We're going to go into that lodging event that we've been working with quite a bit throughout this series. So I'm going to click into there. Perfect. And notice it goes directly into that booking and pricing. That's going to save us a couple of clicks right there. We're going to click right in on the rooms tab. And we're going to notice this green banner. Anytime you have a banner in Tern, it's telling you to do something, giving you a gentle nudge or maybe a reminder. So this green banner is telling us that selections were made on a specific date, who they were made by, and what the actual selection was. So that's super helpful right at the top, just telling you kind of what's going on in the trip right now. I'm going to go over to our booking and pricing tab within the lodging event here. And again, we have another banner saying it's active credit card authorization on this booking. Super helpful there. So as we scroll down to the credit card authorization of payments, we see more green banners. So similar to the one on the rooms, the amount authorized here shows whom the amount is authorized by whom, which card they're using, and how valid or how long that credit card authorization is going to be valid. You can mark the deposit as paid here, and then the final balance will be adjusted for you. So if a client requests any changes in the authorized payment structure at this point, you're going to want to update the terms and make sure that you get a new authorization for any of those like revision requests. So I'm going to show you if say I did get one of those things that say, I want to do a couple more installments and just deposit and final balance. If I click in, Tern is going to give you a warning that says changing the payment schedule will remove any existing authorizations. That means any future or any other authorizations that is there is going to disappear and you're going to have to reauthorize that with your client. So I'm going to cancel that. I don't want to do that right now. I'm going to show you how when I do mark this deposit as paid, there we go. Perfect. That's good. All right, moving on down. We're going to look at the booking details section here. And I'm going to mark this room as booked using the button on the right. Mark as booked. All right, this will open a pop-up so I can log the details of my booking. This trigger is like, it triggers our tracking system. So, sorry, pardon me, marking this as booked triggers our tracking system. And we only start tracking sales and commission and data after we mark it as booked. This prevents noise from activities that you're just proposing to clients, but haven't actually booked just yet. On your end, you're going to repeat this process for all your bookings that have been authorized on your itinerary. And when it's done, we're going to actually prepare an invoice for the traveler. So assume that I went through and I marked all of those as booked. I'm going to go back to our booking tab. And I'm going to show you all here how we can generate an invoice for your clients. Back to the quick booking here, we can see on the top right next to new items, we can generate an invoice, and pressing this button is going to open a pop-up window. I'm going to do that now. Excellent. So once this opens, we want to confirm a few things. Definitely we want to look at these invoice details and make sure that they're correct, noticing how many items are included, the total cost, and then what is remaining. Along with that, we have our invoice number that's automatically generated and the date that this is actually generated, so you can keep track of if multiple invoices are created. You can add additional details just below that, and when you're ready, you can create your invoice. Boom. Takes just a moment, and we've seen this screen before. An email will be partially populated with the invoice attached. So you can either download this as a PDF to send to your client right at the top, or you can create an email right here and ship it off. You can always preview this. You can always send directly from here. There's multiple ways that Tern allows you to kind of get the information you need to your customers off to them. So I'm going to hand it back off to Karina, and she's going to help you understand how you get to try this for yourself. Karina?
All right, so quick recap. It always kind of helps to like summarize what we just learned. So we learned how to go into the activity log and see that our travelers provided credit card authorizations. We then learned that we can record the deposits have been paid and bookings have been made, and log all of the relevant information to be tracked within Tern. Of special note, we learned that marking a booking as made, right? We mark the booking as made, launches it into our sales and commissions tracking reports. That's an important detail that you don't want to overlook, because just creating the booking, if you don't mark it as booked, it's not going to start rolling into your tracking systems or be generated in your reports, because until you actually do that, it's just a proposal. So you've got to make sure that you check that box when you're ready. Finally, we learned how to send our traveler an invoice once we had all of the booking and payments done. So now, while it's all fresh in your mind, you just saw it, we're going to pause and make sure you have time to get in there and do it yourself and start building some muscle memory and really kind of start generating, ooh, I have a question, right? Because it's those hands-on moments where you have those aha points of clarity or questions. So I'm going to put up on my screen just a little bit of the checklist. It's not the whole checklist. It's just so as people pop in maybe late, they know what we're doing right now. So you're welcome to use it, but as you get to the end of what I'm displaying, you'll have to pop over into the training guide or that printable checklist to continue. So here we go. All right, there we are. So I am going to set a timer as usual. I will pop back in when there's about a minute, so you know to wrap everything up and draw your attention away from the app and back to our demonstration. So I'm going to go on mute now and give you some time. I'm going to interrupt real quick. I'm sorry about this, but I'm like watching the chat and the Q&A, and some people are bringing up some good points that if you in your practice trips are marking things as booked right now in your practice trips, those are getting pushed over to your tracking systems. And if you are a part of an agency that's getting reported to, that's getting pushed up. So for the demonstration purposes, if you are in those kinds of a situation where it's getting pushed up, you might not want to practice pressing booked. Just know that that's what you would need to do. And if you already did it, somebody said that ship has already sailed, you can cancel your booking. All right. Sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to jump in and catch as many people as I could right now. All right. And there goes my timer. So, follow up on the booking question. Like if you are part of an agency and your stuff is moving forward, if you do want to get experience and have some demo trips where you can mark it as booked and do the full tip to tail experience in practice, I just wanted to point out that when you mark it as booked and this pop-up comes up for you to enter stuff, you do have the ability right here to change who it's going to. So if you open that up, you can change this so that it doesn't report up. So that way, if you really do want that fully authentic experience, but you are a part of an agency, this is how you could get that true experience without having to worry about that reporting. Hopefully that's a little bit helpful. So I'm going to actually stop share now. And let's get queued up for the next topic. The next thing that we're going to cover is actually not so much do this, do that. Here's a step-by-step guide. It's going to be a product tour. Now that we are dealing with actual bookings, money is flowing, it's time that we start looking at how can we track it. So Tern gives you robust tools to track sales, payments, and commissions. And understanding where to find trip specific versus advisor level financial data allows you to maintain accurate records, plan your revenue pipeline, so on and so forth. So I'm going to hand the mic back over to Ben, and he's going to show you where you can find all your tracking and reporting tools in Tern.
Excellent. Thanks, Karina. All right, share my screen again. All right, so let's actually head to the back office for a minute. At the top toolbar up here in your navigation, you're going to see both a commission and a reporting tab. And whether you work independently or with an agency, these tools are key. The main difference is who's entering and tracking the sales and commission information. So when you're an independent, it's all you. When you're with an agency, they usually handle a lot of that part. So we're going to start with the commissions tab right here. And in your commissions tab, you'll find a drop-down menu right there. And within this drop-down menu, you can decide who you're going to be, like which agency you're working for. Here you can see that I actually have lots of different agencies that I'm working with. So I need to pick one that's going to show a little bit more like what you see. So I'm going to choose it, like I said, I chose an agency where I don't have admin rights. So my screen looks similar to kind of what you're going to see here. And let's start, we'll go left to right and just kind of explain each one of these elements. So under the bookings tab, this is going to show you all activities that you've marked actually as booked across every trip that you're planning. You'll see booking information along with the status of your commission, such as mine will say received right now, so I've already received all these commissions, but often you will see this and it'll say upcoming, overdue, partial, or even canceled. You also want to see, you can see that we have things associated by client, your start date, confirmation, and then that estimated commission. For you independent advisors, your log will, you will log your own commissions into the bookings as you receive payments from your suppliers or host agencies. And then you agency advisors, this is where your agency admin kind of handles the payment and logging of the status updates. You just get to view what they have already set. Now we can see, we'll bounce over to the agency payout tab. Perfect. And the agency payout tab is specifically for agency-agent relationships. This is where your agency kind of handles your payouts. So you independent advisor out there, you won't have an agency payouts tab at all, but those agency advisors, you're going to see the payment status from your agency's admin. This is where, again, it's going to say ready or on hold or paid in the far right in the status column. And this tab tracks all your payments that the agency actually owes you, because you can kind of see right above, and a bunch of your bookings details, information, your payouts, dates, and when you were actually paid. Looks like I just recently got paid, so I want to make sure that all those are correct. Last on this page, we have our payout statements tab. So the statements tab is where you're going to find the actual statements for your agency payout. It complements the payout status tab that we just looked at. And again, unfortunately, you independent advisors, you won't see this, but you agency advisors, you won't see a statement populate until the payment has actually been made or been issued by your admin. So you might be looking at kind of a blank screen right now. So whereas the agency payouts tab shows you everything that is upcoming and completed, the statements tab is only going to show you documents for payouts that have actually been completed. You'll also notice here up in the top right corner that we have filter options and the export option. You can download your commission data anytime using the export button. And you also have a filter here so you can use to surface specific types of commissions. So we have statement names, this is for that. And then within your agency payouts and bookings, there's different filters along associated with those. All right, so that's it for commissions. We're gonna bounce over into reporting, another cubicle in the back office, if you will. So just like the commissions tab, in your reporting tab, you're gonna find a drop-down menu to choose between your agency affiliations. And I'm gonna go back to that Jade's Journeys Travels, and that's where I'm just an agent, and she's my agency owner. So unlike the commissions tabs, you will see all three reporting tabs here, regardless of your role. So within the sales tab, this is gonna show your total bookings and gross sales for activities that you've marked as booked. They're attributed to the month of the booking and not the date of travel. Going down a little bit lower, we can see that our bookings is merely just a count. This is your total bookings and gross sales for activities that you actually, sorry, this is the number of activities and trip packages or insurance items that you've actually booked. Your gross sales to the right of that is actually the dollar amount, so the total cost of all those booking activities. And then the supplier breakdown is going to be on the left, and that shows kind of your total bookings and gross sales broken down by your booking supplier. You can also filter here to the right for your booking date, travel start date, and your supplier if you're looking for just, say, a specific, like if you're looking just for your provider bookings and gross sales through them. I'm going to move back up to our received commission. So take a minute to load there. Now, as I mentioned, I just got paid, so I should have received some commission. So the received commission tab shows you the total commission and earnings based on the payment that's actually been logged in Tern, and commission is attributed to that, sorry, I already said like as it's been received. So agency agents, you'll receive commission that comes from payouts from your agency admin and creates after logging the supplier payments. Independent advisors, you'll log your own payments directly from your suppliers or host agencies, and then the supplier breakdown is going to be down here. And you can actually see how much you're receiving from each supplier. All right, so that is our received commission. And now we have our expected commission. This is for all upcoming and expected commissions. So it's projected commissions from activities that you've marked as booked based on expected commissions and amounts splits that you enter. So you agency agents out there, your expected commission is calculated using your agency split percentage. So if you expected $100 commission with an 80% split, your project it projects $80. Independent advisors, you can set your split to 100 since there's no agency taking any of the percentage. Now mine is left blank because I actually just got paid and I didn't have time to actually set up future commissions or push out dates for expected commissions that are actually not being paid just yet. All right, that was a lot of information. We really just covered back office information from commissions and reporting. And I'm going to pass it back to Karina, and they're going to help you get started to kind of explore this on your own. Back to you, Karina.
All right. Very good. So since what we just covered isn't actually a process, it's not a to-do list, the time that we're going to give you now is just to go in and explore, figure out your questions, maybe ask Finn some questions. If he doesn't do a good job, drop some more in the Q&A. But this is just your time to go in and really dig in and see what's available and see what your view looks like. Now, please remember, you guys are going to have maybe a little bit different views based on what your roles and your agency constructs look like. So if you are confused because you are seeing something that you didn't think you should see, we didn't talk about, or vice versa, you're not seeing something you think you should, please open Finn and ask him, like, what should I be seeing on my commissions page? I am an independent advisor. What should I be seeing on my reports page? I am an agency advisor. Like, just let him know what your role is, and he'll tell you what you should see, and he'll unpack it for you and tell you what's in it. So what we gave you was a lot, and I know it's hard because we're like, hey, this type of audience will see this, and this type of audience will see this. And that's because we're trying to support all of you, but we understand that with that comes a little bit of inherent confusion because it's like, oh, that doesn't apply to me. I'm confused now. So please, please, please ask Ben. He does a great job of unpacking these two tabs for you. So I will put back up on the screen that checklist. Let me get my screen share rolling for you. Guys, where'd it go? Guys, where'd it go? Found it. Here we are. Voila. Okay, so if you want your full checklist are in workshop 4 right now, right? There's your printable checklist download if you want that. But all you really need to do is go to topic 2, drop it open. There's not much here for you to see. It's literally just like go explore, right? I will leave this one up for you. So if anybody pops in or out, they know where we're at. I will come back on audio to give you a 1 minute warning, 1 minute warning before we circle back for topic 3. I actually set a timer, so I don't know if that was 1 minute, but let's just say it was, okay? All right, let's see what we're gonna be doing next. The last thing that we're gonna do today, I'm actually gonna stop screen share. There we go. All right, the last thing we're gonna do today is actually circle back to our cruise. Way back a million years ago, last Monday, we started a cruise, the New York City to Bermuda cruise, which just so happens to be the Tern Users Conference, if any of you have noticed. We're gonna open that back up and we're gonna start building it out just a little bit more. We're gonna add in a flight. And we're going to go in and see how to do cruise cabin options, right? We did room options, but when you're in the cruise library, it's pretty slick. So we're going to show you how to use that. And then when you release, naturally on your own, you can and build it all out, but we will focus on doing those two things right now. So Ben, it's all yours.
Awesome. Thanks, Karina. Hey, I noticed in the chat too that some people are kind of getting kicked in and out. Zoom's on the fritz again today. So just keep in mind that all of these are being recorded and you will have access to them in the future. All right. So let's dive into our cruise. Share my screen again. I'm going to zoom in on this one since we'll be working pretty closely. So basically, in this demo, we're going to learn how to add a round trip flight and 2 cabin options and pricing for each on our cruise that we've already started. So what we want to do first is get that flight added, and you'll add a flight from your home city to NYC where the cruise embarks. If you haven't had your cruise started, like haven't actually started this yet, you can pop back to workshop 1, topic 3, when we break for hands-on practice, and then you can get that cruise pulled in from the library. So I'm gonna open the cruise. It's right here, still in my planning phase, Big Apple to Bermuda cruise. And again, I always love seeing my overview tab, seeing what's going on my trip. So, but what I'm gonna do is open my itinerary. And we're gonna talk about that. Oop, I already have my flight added in here. Ignore that. I was working on this earlier. But that's okay. We're going to add another dam to show you how to do everything just as you're doing it. So there aren't flight specifics in your checklist. So since you're the traveler, you can use your home as a departure point. And oftentimes when we book these cruises, your traveler will want to fly in at least the day before the cruise. So we're going to start by adding another day to this itinerary. To do that, we're going to click these 3 buttons right here next to our itinerary options, and we're going to edit the itinerary. You have all your information here, and this is going to start a day earlier. So for these purposes, I think we had the cruise from 9:10 to 9:15, but I'm just going to show you that you can just add another day here. Yours will probably be the 9th. Mine's going to be the 8th. We're going to keep all the other information the same. And this is one of those points in Tern where you do have to update manually. It's not going to autosave for you. You want to make sure you're making the right decision. So we're going to update that itinerary here. All right, update. So now you notice we have a blank day here. Yours will say September 9th. Mine actually says September 8th. And all we need to do now to get this rolling is I'm going to roll down and drop our flight directly into the first day of our itinerary. Excellent. So in the General Info tab, we're going to roll down and see that we can decide exactly how I want our flight to appear in our traveler's itinerary right here. So we have itinerary display, and we can do single or separate. And now, if you're like me, you probably want your flight to appear twice. I know Jennifer actually covered this in office hours, so this is going to be a repeat for you folks who were here for that. But for those who weren't here, it's great to see this. So I'm going to actually do separate. I like this to show both on the first day and the last day for my customer as like a way that they get a nice little reminder about their return flight, and they don't have to go looking back to the beginning of their itinerary. So for our flight date, I'm going to add the 9th here. We're doing a Delta flight. Notice our airline auto populates there, and we're going to use 5295. And we're going to search and see what comes up. Perfect. We have our flight here, and then we need to add our return flight. So I'm going to add a flight. This shows another flight leg here. Our return date is going to be the 15th. And again, we're using Delta. Perfect. And this one is 5085. Again, you don't necessarily, you can use any flights you want from your home airport here. So we're going to search for this. All right, and it says searching for Delta Airlines, it matched the following flights. Please decide which ones you want to add. And this is my return flight, so I'm going to choose LaGuardia back home. And submit. Perfect. That information looks correct. So now, as we've done before, we want to scroll back up and jump into the booking and pricing tab. All right, so for pricing here, I'm going to go per person, and these flights are going to be $469 per person. So I'm adding that information here. You can add whatever the flights that yours says you're going to add it, whatever flights you pick, and put that information there. So you'll continue adding the payment and commission details, but we want to skip that since you kind of already know how to do that aspect and move on to the booking details section. So I'm going to roll all the way down to the booking details once again. So here in the booking details is where you're going to select the supplier that I'm booking through. So we booked directly through Delta again. So Delta Airlines here. So so I would enter Delta's terms and conditions and cancellation policies here. But if you book through a third party, just think of the supplier as the organization in which you're actually sending the payment to. So you can go the extra mile by actually including the supplier's documentation here, and then add the airline's legal documentation separately over here in the Documents tab. All right, we have that all in there. We have our supplier, our terms and conditions, cancellation policy, pricing, commissions. We're going to return to our itinerary now. So going back to the left toolbar, jumping back to the itinerary, you can always do it from the top as well. All right, we can see that our flight is added here, and our return flight is there as well. Love that. Okay, regardless of the flight being a single or separate or on 4 legs, whatever it may be, the total price of the flights for all travelers will be displayed wherever the flight is annotated. So you can see the total price here for one person. That said, it's only going to calculate into the trip once. So this repeated price is shown everywhere, but you don't have to go digging. You just can kind of see it right there on the surface. All right, let's go into our lodging events and get some rooms in here. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Perfect, here we are. And if we don't have it already, I can just quickly drag in a lodging event right into the first day of our cruise. Let's see, the first things we need to do here is enter our check-in and check-out date. For this cruise here, I know we're going from the 10th through the 15th. And notice that the end of the trip, you can't go beyond that. It's not going to let you go beyond the days of the trip. So we have our check-in and our check-out date. And next, we want to add cabin options. So I'm going to go back to the top and go to Rooms tab. We've seen this before in other lodging events, but this one's going to look a little bit different. So under the Rooms tabs, now that we know that we're on a cruise, we actually have this option to search cabins on this specific ship. So I'm going to click into that. And now you can see that we have multiple cabin options that are preloaded, and you get to pick a few for your clients to choose from. There's a cheeky corner suite with an even bigger terrace if you like that one. I really like the Fab suite, so I'm going to drop the Fab suite in here. And then if you go down, you maybe want to give them more options, earn a little bit more commission. I'm going to add another room. And there we are, room 2. Same thing, same process. I'm going to search another cabin. That last one is Fab. Maybe they want it to be a bit more posh. I'll add the posh suite. And just for fun, I'm going to add a third one, search my cabins, and maybe this person really wants to feel like a mega rock star. So I'm going to drop that one in here as well. Okay, I've added 3 cabins, and it says that images are being added to your itinerary. We're going to go back up to the top because now we've just loaded them. They can see these 3, but they haven't had the option to choose from them yet. So I'm going to convert these cabins to options, meaning that my traveler is going to have to choose from these 3. And it says, gives you a little warning here. It makes sure that your traveler is prompted to make their selection the next time they view the itinerary. I'm going to confirm that because I do want them to make a decision, cuts down on time and back and forth. Perfect. And notice we have a little red blinking light drawing our attention over here. Clicking into this media tab, it's going to show you that these rooms have been or images from these rooms have been auto-populated. Again, you can kind of change which one your primary photo is, make sure you have ones that you like in here, and you're good to go. All right. So we've added our rooms. We've made it optional. We've got the general info. I'm going to go back to our bookings and pricing tab once more. And as you've done many times before, it's now to enter all pertinent details, including pricing, payments, bookings, commissions, confirmations, receipts, all of those aspects here. So that was a lot of information. I'm going to head it back to Karina, and they're going to get you started on your activity.
All right, everybody. So you literally just kind of filled out an entire cruise everything in minutes, right? It's the cruise library is fantastic since it's pre-populated. It really helps save time. So in just that short demonstration, we added round trip flights. We got them on the itinerary. We provided 3 different room options to our clients with full descriptions, imagery, all of it. All we have to do is go pop in the pricing. So what I'd like to do now, as we always do, is break. Get some hands-on time while it's fresh. Go see those subtle differences between a cruise cabin room options versus room options when you're kind of building it out yourself. And again, just a reminder, if you are doing anything with that marked as booked, I've updated your checklist to give you that little warning and notice that you can change it to independent so it doesn't push up if you are an agency advisor. So just another little reminder to keep that in there if you are part of an agency and your stuff is rolling up as you're playing with bookings. Okay, let's see. Notable mentions. Flight pricing. Again, I'm just going to call it just a few things because I know when we're teaching you, we say a lot and it's like, okay, I can't remember it all. So here's 3 things that kind of stand out to me. Flight pricing. It can be confusing because your flight is dropped on multiple days in your itinerary or has multiple legs. And if it's 2 people flying and it's $950 for those 2 round trip tickets, you're going to see $950 every single time the flight is on the itinerary. That's just so that you know the price, no matter where you're seeing it. You don't have to go find the price somewhere. It is not calculated multiple times. So that's just a good little thing to keep in your mind. Next, as you start thinking through a variety of cruise scenarios, you may find that you don't know how to do the pricing the first time you try. I highly suggest you tell Finn exactly what you want to accomplish and say, dude, give me step-by-step instructions. That's how I'm learning like all of these different like edge cases. Like, how would I handle this and how would I handle that? I tell him, I'm like, here's my situation. What do I do? And he gives me a lot of great ideas. So I would suggest as you start exploring, how am I going to do this, right? Like I have kids. I have one cabin with 2 adults, one cabin with an adult and a kid. Like, how am I going to manage this? Additionally, I loaded a list of the most commonly asked questions when it comes to pricing cruise cabins inside of your checklist. So please open that up, and that might be additional help when you're ready for it. We don't want to overwhelm you right now inside of the workshop. The cruise library that we keep for you is monitored by a third party, and it is updated every single week. But please keep in mind that it doesn't include prices because those change and evolve. That is something that you'll have to get is the pricing for those cabins. We don't store that inside of Tern with the constant changes. Okay, I think that's it for my notable mentions. Let me go ahead and get the next checklist queued up and shared. So as people pop in, they know where we're at. I will set timers. I will interrupt you when there's 1 minute left. So go start playing with your cruise. Again, just real quick, if you didn't hear me say it before, we pulled the cruise in on the first day. All we did was pull it in from the library. It was super fast and easy. So if you didn't have time to do that, please just pop into the day 1 workshop. I think it was topic 3. And in the checklist, we'll give you step by step on how you can pull your cruise in so then you can pick back up where you left off. All right, I think that's it. I'm going to be quiet now. All right, we are back. If you wouldn't mind pausing for just a moment, we're going to wrap up. And I think I'm actually going to get you a few minutes back today. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. Actually, it's probably Ben I need to pat on the back, but hey, it's all right. Okay, so if anything moved too fast during the demos, we understand like everybody's pacing is different. Please know the live recordings will be posted. They'll be posted directly in the training guide, so you don't have to go looking anywhere. If you feel like hunting, they're also in Turn and Learn. They'll also be in YouTube. But I will drop this recording literally on the workshop 4 card in your training guide, hopefully later today. Let's hope that Zoom participates nicely with me and gets me that recording in a timely fashion. But as soon as I can, I will get it up for you. Okay, so let's circle back and put a bow on workshop 4. So today we took a fully customized trip from planning to booked. We entered all of the payments and bookings into Tern so that we can track outstanding customer payments as well as commission payouts. We took some time to explore the tracking and reporting tools that are available in Tern. And then finally, we circled back to our cruise from workshop 1 that we pulled in from the cruise library and learned how to add a day to the front of it so that we could drop a flight for travelers that want to come in early. We also put the flight on the itinerary and determined how we wanted it to look, whether we want it in one spot on the itinerary or on the travel dates of the itinerary. And then we went in and we saw how rooms were handled a little bit differently in our cruise library than if we're doing a fully customized trip where we've got to pull in our own content. And we learned we still have to turn those into options just like in a fully customizable trip. So we took care of that. And I think that's where we wrapped it. Did I miss something? Okay, that's where we wrapped. So again, if you didn't have time to check if you finished the checklist, let's just say on my crazy, right? Good job. Most of you probably did not. If you're new to our workshops, please don't feel stressed. We don't expect that the time we give you is long enough to master this. Show yourself some grace. You are learning a lot in the boot camp. You are literally replacing multiple software applications with Tern. So show yourself some grace. Expect it to take some time. Think about it as if I was learning multiple applications, how long would that take? And then don't be hard on yourself. It's going to take some time to figure out not only how to use Tern, but how to really start exploiting it for what its value offer really is, and that is saving time. You'll create your own personalized processes as time goes on. For now, just be gracious with yourself, get your hands on, start learning some things. One last note, office hours, please take great advantage of Ternbot Fin, his on-demand support that is thorough and fast, will really serve you well when you're inside of the application. Please know that if you're not getting what you need, you can ask him to put you in touch with our support team. They will reach back out in a very timely manner and start engaging with you to provide you whatever tailored support you need. And then if you find that you would like to pop into the workshop up to 30 minutes ahead of the next workshop on Friday, we will be holding office hours. You can drop your questions in the Q&A panel, and our product experts will be there to answer those, or you can just sit and watch as things are demoed, and you can just absorb a little bit more if you don't have any questions of your own. So again, thank you so much for being with us today, spending your Wednesday morning with us. We know that you're investing a lot of time to get stood up inside of Tern, and you are very much appreciated. I hope that this is very helpful for you. We are halfway through workshops 1 through 4. Check. Workshop 5 coming to you this Friday, same bat time, same bat place. Kind of a lie, it's a different link, but you get my point. All right. So thank you all so much for your time. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we will see you back here on Friday.